Hello, sacred friends, and welcome back. Welcome to the Meet Me in Sacred Space podcast. I am your host, Lori A. Andrus, and welcome to February. I feel like a deep exhale stepping into this month, and I feel like the last month, the month of January, was like a full year, all unfolding at once, super fast paced, lots of things going on, lots of things getting done, and things coming together in their own interesting ways. I'd be curious what you felt about last month. It felt to me very reflective of the energy that we had with the star cluster aragonite. That was our ally last month. And as we move into more of the conversation today, we're going to talk about the February crystal ally of the month, which is sodalite, and some of the energy that it's evoking within us this month, how it's going to support us and how it's showing up as an ally. But before we lean into that, I want to just do a little reflection on last month and the energy that the star cluster aragonite was really calling us into, the ways it was showing up and supporting us and really activating this year. I found it to be a really interesting crystal to kick off the year, to be an ally for the month of January. And I think part of that is because the last several years, it's felt slow and sluggish at the start of the year. It's felt like getting into the year was just a really slow pace and almost like dragging our feet through the mud in some ways. But it wasn't that way this last month or this year. And I think star cluster aragonite was really a perfect ally for that. It was really here to show us and support us in our own coming into our own center, really anchoring our light within and allowing it to radiate out into the world. When there's a lot going on and things become fast-paced, it can be challenging to maintain our own inner fire, to maintain our inner light without being scattered and overwhelmed. And that was the wisdom it really wanted to impart. It was inviting us to get curious about how we can stay in our center while allowing all of life to unfold in its own way around us, to stay within our authenticity, our truth, and to really nurture the ideas and dreams that have been living within us. Now, as we move into February, we're bringing in sodalite as the ally. And it's really a really interesting one to follow, the star cluster aragonite. Partly because I feel like the star cluster aragonite really amplifies the inner light and really activates something within us. And sodalite almost slows us down. And not in a way that we are stopped or halted, but it invites us to really listen within, to pay attention to the dreams that have been within our soul for a very long time. We all have dreams that we have listened to and not listened to throughout our lives. Dreams that maybe have always been lingering, but we haven't felt courageous or ready or like we could trust ourselves to take action towards them. And sodalite is showing up now to say, it's time for you to really listen to those dreams. And then there are the other dreams that we've had that we've really, really tucked away because society didn't match or we couldn't see a pathway forward. We felt pressure from our family, friends, and loved ones to follow something different in life, to create our lives in a different way. And sodalite's really showing up to say, hey, if you've been on a path of self-growth and inner discovery and inner exploration for the past several years, you've really been doing the inner work to release and let go of those old stories and old patterns, those old ideas of what life should look like, and really reclaim and claim what's within, and to honor the path that you're really being called to. The other thing that's happening, right now, actually, as I'm recording this, which is February 1st, we are right at the midpoint of the winter season, and this is a beautiful time of year. It's a point where we begin to feel a little bit of that spring energy be awakened within ourselves. We begin to feel the desire to focus in on the seeds that we intend to plant in the spring season. And it's a time where we begin to kind of distill down what is really important for right now. And when I say that, I'm not suggesting that we dismiss the big dream, but rather I'm suggesting that we look at that big dream and we allow ourselves to kind of filter down into this moment, a knowing of what is the step we can and need to take at this time to move towards that dream. Sodalite invites us to dream really big, to vision and imagine. It is an incredible ally for journeying into different realms and dimensions and connecting with infinite possibilities. But the other piece of it is that it invites us to take what we imagine and dream of from that grand scale and distill it down into our reality here on the earth right now, to focus it in a way that it feels meaningful and aligned and natural, and that the next natural step reveals itself to us. It's those next natural steps that we lean into that empower us and create the momentum towards the bigger dreams and ideas and visions that we hold in our heart. And it's what begins to shape how things unfold in the ways that they're going to unfold. Very often, the ideas and dreams that we have, they have one sort of we have an expectation of how that'll come together. We have an idea of what it should look like. But our soul knows there's something much deeper. There's a different way our gifts and unique talents and wisdom and magic want to live in this world. And we're being invited to really lean into that and allow that to reveal itself. And that's really a co-creative process. It's a process where we are creating from within with Spirit. We're allowing Spirit to guide us, to show us. Yeah. And that's beautiful. It opens up so many possibilities. And that's when the trust, the intuitive trust of what our next natural step is, becomes really important. Sodalite is a stone that really invites us to dream big, land that dream, and really cross the threshold of our becoming. Our becoming is not the grand thing 10 years in front of us. It's the small steps that we take one by one, day by day, every time we show up for that dream in the small ways that are required for us to grow, to deepen into our own wisdom and inner authority and sovereignty and all of those fantastic words that we talk about in the journey of becoming. It's about doing the inner healing work, learning the skills, refining our own gifts and talents, and really embodying our wisdom. Over this past week, I had a really beautiful conversation with one of my friends and colleagues about this piece of embodying our wisdom. When we're walking a spiritual path and we're stepping into our work as healers, as wisdom teachers, as spiritual guides, as creative visionaries, as creative spiritual trailblazers, we go through many different stages. And one of the stages that I think is so exciting and just so luscious and really just decadent is we'll give two stages here. First one being that initial awakening where there's this awareness that everything is alive and filled with life. And we have these deeply profound spiritual experiences. And we go, oh my gosh, I must have had blinders on for the rest of my life. And life just comes to life in ways that we hadn't experienced before. And that awakening experience sends us down trails of study and discovery and exploration. And a lot of that comes within. We begin to journey and look within. We begin to be collectors of tools and techniques and practices. We learn ways to heal. We learn ways to facilitate healing in others. We learn how to work with other tools, whether it's, musical instruments, for me, the flute and my rattle and my drum, or the crystals and stones. For others, it may be learning to play the singing bowls, or lean into some yoga or meditation or other practices that really light you up. As we collect all of that information, what we're really doing is we're turning on our unique gifts, our unique ways of filtering and tapping into intuition and attuning to the nuances of the spiritual and the physical world. We're beginning to upgrade and shift our ideas and perspectives and belief systems. We're beginning to look at life differently. And during that time, as we're collecting all of this information, we're strengthening our desire to be of service to the work we're here to do in the world. I think that is such a fun time. It's one where we just grow so quickly and so fast. But I see a really interesting period of time that follows that. And the interesting period of time that follows it is the crossing the threshold into doing the sacred work that we're here to do. And really doing it from a place of embodied wisdom. That requires something a little different. It requires us to really delve into the deeper layers of healing that our soul is wanting to do on earth at this time. That may be things that we've experienced in this lifetime. It may be things we've experienced in previous lifetimes. But either way, it's calling us deep within. It's calling us to unearth the really rich medicine that we walk with, the wisdom we carry. And as we do that we begin to embody all those tools that we've collected. We begin to embody all of the techniques that we've learned. And we shift from the place of being a collector to being one who walks with wisdom. This is such a powerful point in the journey, that shift into our embodied wisdom. When we come from that place, that's when we begin to be able to naturally guide and facilitate meditations, to organically attune to our instruments and tools, to know our crystals, not because of what we've read in a book, but because of what we feel and hear and see as we pick it up and hold it in our hands. Our tools begin to speak to us. Spirit speaks through us. We embody it. It becomes natural. And the way we connect with the people that we're working with, the people we're meant to serve, it becomes magical. This place of transition from collecting, I'm going to call it collecting because I think it's so fun. I think the collecting stage of our spiritual path is really a joyful one. But I really get lit up about this time where we transition, where we cross the threshold really, truly into our becoming, where we're saying yes to what our soul wants, not the tools and techniques that we've learned all the way along the journey, but the inner peace that really, truly wants to emerge and the ways that those tools and techniques want to uniquely be expressed through us. This is where I love to work with the crystals and stones. It's where I love to work with my clients and participants in my programs and classes. It's what lights me up. And this is what Sodalite is here to support us with this month. Now, wherever you are on your journey, this piece of embodying our tools and techniques, it's not a one and done thing. It's something that's ongoing. And so is the collecting piece, that learning piece, delving into new techniques and other wisdom paths and understanding how that wants to be expressed and lived through you in this time. We continue to do that. And Sodalite is inviting us this month to kind of look at the buffet of everything we have experienced, all of the journeys we've taken, all of the tools we've learned, the techniques we've discovered and brought into our lives, and to let them really just kind of lay out in front of us. And then consider, what is it that within me, what is the dream within me, and which one wants to be embodied at a next level right now? And what is the threshold of becoming that I'm crossing during this month? I know this sounds massive and really big, and yet this happens one small step at a time. And it's a really important piece as we really step into this year and prepare ourselves for the spring season. As we prepare for the season of planting seeds, planting our intentions into the earth so that they can become part of our reality and that they can bear fruit in the fall. I want to invite you to have fun and play with this, to play with this time, not only in the creative cycle of the year, in the seasons of the year, in the winter, this dreamy time where we have such a perfect ally for dreaming, visioning, and discovering the next step of our becoming. It's a beautiful time to just go within, trust you, and allow Sodalite to be an ally for that. Now, if you're curious about the 2024 Crystal Allies and you want to know a little bit more about them, I'll put a link below to the replay of one of the podcast episodes where I dove into sharing the crystals and stones that came forward and some of the kind of core messages that they brought for the coming year. As we move through the year, I'll talk more about them and share more as we continue on. And I look forward to sharing that with you. Also, I want to let you know, because I've been updating you along the way, about my Oracle deck, the Stones Speak. Guess what? We have a date. Oh my goodness. They will be released on Kickstarter, or they'll be available on Kickstarter beginning March 10th. And if you haven't signed up to get on the wait list, to really get a notice of when they're coming out, hop on down. I'll put a link below in the show notes and pop over, sign up, and we'll get you on that list. I would love to share that with you firsthand when we kick that off. I'm so excited about this deck. Finally got a proof in the mail last week. It feels so good to have it in my hands, to shuffle through, to feel what the cards feel like, to really be infused by their vibrations and the messages. There's something about just flipping through the book and reading what they have to share. So I wish you an absolutely beautiful day, my sacred friends, and sweet, sweet, dreamy journeys with our ally, Sodalite. Have a beautiful day. Shine brightly. Bye for now.